Hi there. So I'm in the workshop this morning, finishing off an order that's for a restaurant who are a very nice customer and give me a lot of leeway. And so I'm doing this order, decorating it, knowing that they really like a lot of colour, and that therefore I'll be using several combinations of colour on these. So they're little ramekins with lids, which are for baking vegetables that will then be served to the customers in their own little pots. So I'm going to put coloured slip on these, and as usual I've gone very high tech in my preparations and have taken my drawing, my coloured pencils, and made a note of all the colour combinations, bearing in mind the colours that I've already used for them in the past. So now I'm going to get my slips ready and start putting it on the pots. I've centred my pot on its chuck, and using a felt tip pen I'm just going to mark the edges of the slip colour, the two slip colours that I'm going to use. I use a felt tip pen because it's got a soft tip and it doesn't leave a mark on the pot itself. So I'm going to apply the first colour. I'm going to leave a small border of unslipped area at the top edge to make a sort of frame. And I'm going to try and put at least 3 coats of slip. I'll put another layer of yellow on when it's had a chance. This is yellow and rust, when it's had a chance to dry a little bit. Now I'm going to put the rust coat on. Because it's a broader line, I'm using a fatter brush, and I will carve through these lines. I will carve through the slip to create some stripes, just a couple, when it's had a chance to dry off. So I can either leave a line between the two colours if I manage to do that, or if I make them butt up to each other, I can carve through the dividing line afterwards. So I'm just going to put a spot more. This rust slip is a bit thicker, so I think this is going to be enough of that. I'm going to put another layer now on the yellow, as well being a lighter colour, it needs to be a bit more dense. I'll carry on, and then I've got to lift it off carefully without touching it, so like that, and I shall leave that the wrong way up to dry, and I'll carry on doing the others, and then I'll do the lids. Okay, for the lids of these pieces I'm going to put them straight onto my clay chuck rather than the biscuited chuck, and centre it like that. That will be enough to hold it in place. Again, I'm going to mark my lines. I think I'm actually going to use, I've got a slight beveled edge there, I'm going to go right to the edge of that, and then we're going to have a narrower band of yellow again and a broader band of rust. I'm probably just going to leave that centre piece without any slip, because if I come to draw lines in this, I'm going to want to have a point where I can hold it in place, and if I have slip there, I'm gonna mark it, and that will be visible after the firing, even if it's not visible before. So I'm going to start with the outer edge. one of the difficulties of using slip is it's really quite difficult to assess quite what thickness you've got. So I think that's okay. Now I'm going to go to the rust coloured slip. And in fact, I think that small centre of white is going to be quite decorative in itself. And that's that. And now for step 3, oh no, step 2 in the decorative process. Having applied the slip, I'm now going to cut a few lines through it. Which gives that. For the moment, it will be different after the firing, and then it's got the lid on it. So now I've got the lid, and I could cut exactly the same number of decorative lines in the slip here as I did on the sides, but I've just done 2 on the first lid, and I kind of quite like that. I'm going to try putting it with one of the pots and just see whether it needs to be identical. I think I'm just going to go with that.